We are a couple, and we're planning on staying together for the rest of our lives. In my opinion, we are married. That's my life. Tony's my life.
It seems all too familiar. Will the story end the same as before? Will it ever stop? When will they come home?
You don't know what it's like to sit around waiting for people to decide to give you equality. It's maddening. It's maddening. Yeah.
I mean, that's, people say, gay and lesbian shouldn't be able to marry, We're so committed. I mean, there's so many gay and lesbian couples out there who are committed to each other. I mean, a lot of straight couples are not that committed.
I think 90% of straight couples wouldn't have gone through most of what we've gone through. 90% of couples, not just straight, 90% of couples, gay or straight. Like, it's a lot of challenge.
I mean, if we had known 16.5 years ago when we met how this would play out, I mean, we think about it. We think about
a lot.
Would we have stayed in the relationship? Because there was one point after we met, and then we traveled for 1.5 years in Africa, and then we sat down. It was in Namibia. One day we sat down. It was just a month before the trip ended. We said, "What are we going to do? Are we going to stay together? Because it's going to be a long fight. Possibly, we didn't know at the time." But of course, we never dreamed it would be 16 or 17 years.
Americans can marry foreign nationals and bring them into the United States as long as you are opposite sex. They can go off and meet somebody and a day later marry them and come back to the United States, and that's no problem. But after 16.5 years, I can't do that. That's the outrage.
Right.
I mean, I'm American. I should be able to live in my country, in my own country, with my partner.
When we tell people we're a binational couple, and we tell them what kind of legal problems we have, with living in each other's countries, everyone is surprised.
Yeah,
I mean, no one ever thinks about that, because, you can normally marry someone from a different country and it's not a problem. But of course no one ever thinks about what if a gay person or a lesbian person meets someone from a different country, how does it affect them? And it affects them in a big way, and no one ever knows that. Just because one state has marriage, that does not mean we can go there, get married, and immigrate to the United States, because marriage in that state is not federally recognized, and immigration is a federal law. So we cannot go to the state, get married, and immigrate. It's not going to work that way.
People can go out, they can buy a wife on the internet and bring them into the United States. If you don't know that, you should. You can go out and buy a wife on the internet. Or a husband, to be politically correct. You can buy one on the internet and bring them into the country legally. I've been with my partner for now 16.5 years, and there is no legal way for me to bring him into the United States. So our entire life has been spent trying to stay together.
I'm here on a student visa, and when I first came here in 98 or 97 actually, we decided I would enroll in a college so I could stay here on a student visa. This is my 7th semester, and after the semester I'll hopefully will get my AS in chemistry.
Thomas is constantly studying, so there really isn't a whole lot of time for free activities. He's basically in here every night and every weekend.
And we decided to drag it out as long as possible so I can stay here. That's why it's taking me so long. I'm getting ready for school.
Do you have any tests today?
Not today, but when I come home tonight, I have to study some more because I have a test on Friday.
What is it in?
Chemistry exam. It's about propagation of error, and it's about gas chromatography and stuff like that. So I'm not looking forward to that.
Thomas actually was originally trained to be a banker. He was actually in international exchange before he moved to the United States. And that's been very difficult. He's had to give up his career.
Our life is affected by financial constraints due to the fact that I can't work and that we have to live off one salary. Tony is working really hard. He has one job teaching English as a second language. He has another job when he comes home working on his webpage, which brings in some money, but it doesn't supply enough support for us to just live a comfortable life.
For 5 years, he's been paying out-of-state tuition, and that's 11 times as expensive as a California resident.
So a lot of things people do, go to movies, buy new clothes, buy new furniture, we can do. A lot of our furniture were given to us by Tony's mom. We have stopped going to movies because it's become too expensive. We watch videos, that's all we do. No, that's not all we do. That's instead of going to the movies, we watch videos. We don't go to concerts. We don't go to any live shows because it's just gotten too expensive for us. Let me see what he's reading. This is like, looks like Chinese, even though it looks Greek to me. Can you read something to me?
Stop. Stop the film. This is awful. We're having a power struggle right now. Like, during the filming, we're having a power struggle. What do you want me to do?
Tell me something about you.
I'm manipulative and awful.
That's right. Say that in Chinese, since you're studying Chinese.
I don't know how to say manipulative in Chinese. I haven't learned that yet. This is the next chapter. The next chapter called Awful German Boyfriends. It's chapter 2.
Take this time while you are still young. You must work hard but still have some fun. Keep in mind it's up to you, but you gotta keep it clean, keep on. Just piece it all together and you will move on. Open up your heart and you will be strong. Chase your wildest dreams before they're all gone. But you gotta keep it clean, keep on.
We knew when we first moved to the United States that his time here was limited, that our time here in the United States was limited. And we didn't know how long we were going to be able to stretch this out, but we were hoping for about 4 or 5 years, and we were hoping that within that time period that we would discover some other way to stay here legally.
My visa is not really running out, it's running out in 2005, but I'm required to transfer next year to a 4-year college. And that would require me to pay out-of-state tuition, which I don't have, which we both don't have, so really the only option is to leave the country.
About 6 months ago, when it became apparent that Tony and Thomas were going to have to leave the country because of the expiration of Thomas's student visa, I don't even quite remember how it came up, but at one point we were talking and it was sort of jokingly said, well, if only Laurel and Thomas could get married, the whole thing would be taken care of. And I actually said, well, I'd be willing to do that. And I think they were both surprised, and I think they were both worried about me because they didn't feel that I knew what I was talking about or what, the implications of what I was saying. But I was quite serious. We talked about it semi-seriously for a while, maybe for a couple weeks. And I think one day in particular, Tony and Thomas and I got together and just seriously talked about the implications of Thomas and I getting married and the risks involved. Tony was by far the more cautious of the three of us, or the most cautious of the three of us. Thomas and I think, were both sort of, I don't know, we were kind of joking about it a lot and imagining, you know, the two of us being married and thinking that it would probably just be fine and kind of funny. But at the same time, the more we talked about it, the more we realized how difficult it would be to keep such a thing secret, because we actually wouldn't be able to tell anybody, our friends or family, that we were married. And it would be really, really hard. And it would also just be so odd and obvious somehow that Thomas was suddenly able to stay here and no explanation was given why. And probably the three of us would live together, and I don't know if that would complicate things or not. I think when we finally decided that it was too much of a risk, it was really Tony who said no, that he wasn't going to put me in that kind of jeopardy or the two of them. So we finally decided to just stop talking about it, and that their best option was to go to Germany.
Just recently, Germany changed its laws where gay and lesbian Germans can actually bring in their foreign partners for immigration. That's just part of a law that was passed that makes a gay and lesbian partnership more equal to a heterosexual partnership.
A lot of people have referred to it as German gay marriage, but actually it is not really truly marriage in the sense of an equal institution that is parallel to heterosexual marriage. Germany has not legalized true gay marriage yet.